GT3 British Short Championship. And look, this evening I'm actually on the TV. Can you believe that? Give me 1 second, let me just post this link in there and then we'll get cracking. Just going to pop that link in now, guys. Right, the link is in. Welcome, everyone. You can see I've got this beautiful shirt on today. Absolutely gorgeous. Fast tracked here from Daz Parker. I know you're watching this and thinking, how can I get hold of something like that? We'll go into that detail later on. But again, just welcome to everybody. I am COMMS by Coops. I'm sat here in Coops Corner, and I get involved with FRL, Formula Racing League, do a lot of commentary for these guys and the driving. But at the moment, I'm sat in this chair with someone doing some graffiti on my whiteboard behind me, which is all good. I don't mind. And yeah, we're going to bring you all the action from this evening. We've got a lot to talk about. We will run through our normal format. Just check that. So we'll go through our normal format, which will be, of course, to go through all the standings, look at the race format, look at the connotations, and you guys are going to want to understand that because everything is rather close at the moment. We'll do a lap guide, a full lap guide. We'll jump on with somebody, and then we'll get into the race itself. So yeah, let's move this along. Every week, for those that do watch, you will be aware that we do a featured driver segment, which is where I will talk to one of our drivers, get an understanding a bit about them, and see what their sort of hopes and aspirations are for this particular evening. So tonight, I thought we'd do something a bit different. Someone who's been hiding in the shadows, doesn't say much, doesn't get involved, plugs away, always gets a good finish, and he's an absolutely rapid driver. And actually, I'm going to give him a new name, as I do with everybody. I'm going to christen this chap the Top Scot. So, welcome everybody. Chica, you there, mate?
Hello.
Hello, Chica.
How you doing, mate?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Okay. Top Scot. Okay. That's where we're at. I've been waiting to say that for weeks.
There'll be a few people contesting that, I think.
Probably. Well, they'll try, and then you'll just let them eat your wake. Yeah. So, I mean, you've obviously been around FRL for quite a while, Chica. I remember when I first joined FRL and started doing the comms for the previous sort of Sunday session, the GT3 Sundays, and I'd get really frustrated with you, like probably for about 4 weeks, because you were always really, really quick when you had the red and white Merc. Yep. But people were always getting involved with incidents, and it was never your fault. And you were so unlucky at the start of that.
I'm still unlucky, mate. It's never changed, I don't think.
Let's hope not tonight.
I know. Even moving on to PC as well, I'm just as unlucky there as well.
I can't believe that. I can't believe it. Okay, so you and FRL, how did that get started? I believe you do race with a couple of close friends within the group.
Yeah. You've Alton and Derek. The three of us kind of all get a settle at the same time, really, and we're just kind of looking for things to do and leagues we can kind of race in. And FRL was the kind of one we came across after a few kind of others, but
yeah.
This one seemed the best at them all, and we kind of got to know all the boys and stuff, and we kind of just stayed with it. And now the likes of Derek and Chris are quite heavily involved in the admin side of it.
Yes, they are very heavily involved in the admin side of it. They're the reason that I don't get to sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning, Chica, because they're constantly ping, can we do this? What about this? It's fantastic, don't get me wrong, and they look after everybody really well. But
they're constantly texting me, going like, "Are you gonna read that message I've sent? Are you gonna read that?"
You're like, no, I'm sleeping.
I'm never on it. I'm never on Discord as much as a lot of the guys, but
yeah,
with 2 young kids and stuff, it's hard.
Oh, I know, mate. I'm the same boat. I've got a 3.5-year-old and a 7.5-year-old, and yeah, I'm always got a phone in one hand and one of them either homework or doing something in the other hand. But anyway, so Brands, obviously we're in free practice. Again, I always, thank you for taking the time out to come and talk to us. What are you thinking about this race today then? What's your kind of hopes?
Well, I was hoping for maybe a high 24 to be competitive, but I'm struggling a wee bit with the Merc, trying to get the setup dialed in, trying to get the rear end to kind of play the game a wee bit. But it's been a struggle. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of practice in the wet there, and now we're on the dry, so I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, you're going to hope it rains then, no doubt.
Well, kind of, aye, a wee bit. But obviously, I've done a Imola race yesterday for 6 hours endurance, and then you're on the PC, coming on back onto PlayStation. It's like a totally different game. You need to relearn it.
That's very interesting that you say that. So coming back across from the PC onto this, is it a massive difference then, Chica?
It's like honestly, it's a different game. The feeling, it's totally different. It really is. It's hard to kind of pinpoint, but the likes of the chudders you get on I've got a G29, so you get the chudders on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
But with the PC, it's very smooth. You can kind of control it a wee bit more. You don't have this kind of random moments, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. So you're getting more force feedback on that front then, or at least the way the PC's running and how it can translate that information back through the wheel.
Slightly, it's more real time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
But still doesn't come close to the likes of Fanatec and whatever.
No, of course not. And if Fanatec are watching, obviously, if you want to give the Top Scot some equipment to try, Chica, you'll be happy, wouldn't you?
Fire it my way, yeah.
After me, yeah. Right, so we've got a pretty, this is the penultimate race, obviously, of this series. It looks like a pretty competitive grid. Do you see yourself, where were you hoping for a finish tonight? What would you be happy with?
I was hoping top 10, but it's a wee bit unlikely, but I might just change my strategy a wee bit to kind of get away for the busy stuff at the start.
Don't give it away. Shh, keep it a secret. They're all watching. They all watch the stream. They want to know what everyone's up to.
That's true.
Good. Okay. Well, listen. I'm going to let you go because there's just under 7 minutes left to practice, and you probably want to get a few more laps in, mate. So, thank you for joining us.
No worries.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you all the best for this evening.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Top Scot. See you later.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. And that is what he is this evening. I'm waiting to get some messages from Dal or from Chris or anyone else really about not being the Top Scot, but I think we'll probably see that this evening. So that was really nice to speak to Chica. He's quite quiet in that way, and it's, I think that's also testament to what we're trying to do here, that everybody now wants to get involved, and have a little chat. It just builds that camaraderie. So if you're just joining us, welcome. We've just had a chat with Chica. We are in the penultimate round of the FRL British GT3 short sprint series that we've been doing. It's just a 5-round series. We're at Brands this evening. We're currently looking at Mr. Williams, and he's coming up some traffic there as he goes into Druids. But we've got a 15-minute qualifying session due after free practice, and then after that we've got a full hour's race, one mandatory stop as always. Obviously you need to be taking tyres or not, you need to be taking fuel or not, but there are minimum time restraints on there, which we'll go into in a little while. So just have a little look on the live chat. So Fresh Brizzle's in there. Hello Fresh Brizzle, hope you're well, mate. You should be practicing, which you are. So if you're typing and driving, you're very skilled there in the triple line Bentley. So that's the format we've got to do for this evening. Now, in terms of the standings, I haven't seen this very often. Okay, if you're not aware, I mean, FRL is very big in terms of teams and getting people to race together. But this because it's a short championship before the update on the console, this is every man for himself, and it has been exhilarating racing. I mean, last week at Snetterton was absolute dynamite. We visited Brands very recently in another championship within FRL, of which a lot of these guys are part of, and it was good. It was really, really good. Okay, I don't want to oversell that to you. It was extremely good racing. So expect that tonight. Now, here is the interesting bit. This chap that we're looking at the moment, Michael Races, he is currently sat on exactly the same amount of points as this chap, I.R. Graham. And they're both top of the championship. So I'll just run through that for you in a moment, just pull those standings up. So Graham and Michael are both sat in joint first place on 108 points, and then just behind them is Leddy 9 in the Bentley. Now Leddy isn't ever present. You can't deny his pace, and he's third. He's only 8 points behind them on 100 points. And then we've got our ever resident, podium hero, Crazies, who, if you watch the FRL podcast on Wednesday, he was our special guest, Dave, and he just broke over 100 podiums within his time at FRL in only 150 odd races, which is really impressive. So he's in 4th place. Traction Dave is currently in 5th place on 60 points. Spacey is in 6th on 44. Euphoric State is 7th on 43. We'll talk about him in a minute. Fresh Brizzle, who's just said hello, in the 999 Bentley, he's in 8th place on 40 points. And then SOP Nelio is on 34 points. Marek, 32. GT Jamie 141 is in 11th place on 28. And then we've got Chica, who we've just had a chat with. Chica's our featured driver for this evening. Chica is unfortunately down in 12th at the moment on 25 points, followed by Georgie Priest, one of our American heroes. That's what we're calling him for the work he does for us over there. Georgie Priest is 13th, and then we've got Yvolton in 14th on 22 points. Then Gamerdad's in 15th on 22 points. Duil 16th on 22 points. So there's a gaggle of guys there that are going to be fighting this evening. I Am Slow, the controller, who races with us from Australia, so it's probably about 7:30 in the morning with him at the moment. He's currently 17th on 15 points. Then we've got Hutch, is 18th on 10 points, and Marty Road Racing, who is currently 19th on 0 points, but hasn't taken part in the full championship. So you can see there we've got quite a lot of battles that are still taking place and can still mature, shall we say, over tonight's racing and into the final round at Silverstone next week. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. The script that's happened so far in this championship has been Michael's been absolutely smashing it out in qualifying, and then Graham's just had that extra bit of consistency in the races and has managed to hold him off. Well, Michael's got a bit excited and made, I'm talking tiny errors, but obviously they make a big difference to what's going on. So how's that going to translate tonight? I have no idea. I just know that those two have been bumper to bumper for the last couple of weeks. Very, very clean, exhilarating stuff. In terms of the grid tonight, we've got 5 people who haven't made it this evening. But that doesn't make a difference, because the 5 guys that have jumped in to replace those, they're all very, very quick guys. I'll just run through who that is now, just so you guys can understand what's going on. So, confirmed to race tonight, we've got Gamerdad, I Am Slow, Hutch, Michael Races, Yvolton, Euphoric State, Duil, Fresh Brizzle, Traction Dave, Iron Graham, Crazies, Spacey, Chica, Marek and Viner. Marty Road Racing can't be with us this evening, nor can George, nor can GT Jamie, and nor can SOP Nelio. So, standing in for those guys is, if you give me 1 second. So we've got Pony Feeder, who's standing in tonight in the Ferrari, the 115 Ferrari. He's rapid, and I mean rapid. He did a really good showing at Taco Tuesday Tier 1 last week. Vinett's in. If you remember last week, I think it was, Vinett was involved before he had to leave the server. No, he actually did the race. He was almost on pole. That's the first time we'd seen this chap, so he's in there tonight as well. He's going to be quick. James Williams is in. I think he's just keeping an eye on everyone, making sure they're safe. But James is no slouch, so he's going to be looking probably for, I'd say, a top 10 finish this evening. Keno DJ, I know pretty well. He's been involved in Taco Tuesday's Tier 1 as a reserve, and he is quick. Him and Pony Feed are actually teammates. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see how they get on tonight. And it looks like they've nicked my livery on that Ferrari, but anyway. And then we've got P1 Valium. I don't know this guy. I think it's a first outing with us, so we'll have to see what he's all about. But yeah, that's going to be a quick grid this evening. So We've had a look at the format, we've had a look at who's driving, who's present, who's absent, what the stand-ins are. We've had a great chat with Chica. Obviously, I need to plug throughout this evening the graffiti behind me for FRL, and obviously the COMMS by Coops. You can see what, actually, I'm quite thirsty. Hold on a minute, guys. Just take a little sip of this. Just cheers. Oh, what is that? No, we'll have a look. It's a beautiful FRL cup. Again, Daz Parker. So, if anyone out there is interested, and here's the rain, beautiful. Chica's going to be happy with that, isn't he? Anybody can get involved and get hold of the merch. Just go onto the website, www.formularacingligue.co.uk. All the information about our championships are on there. All the current stand-ins, leaderboards, Hall of Fame, events, the shop, Patreon. Again, you know, we're trying to build. We're trying to obviously build something for everybody here that everyone can get involved with, and so far it's going swimmingly. So we are in qualifying, and as you will see there, wow, I mean, that's more than a curveball, isn't it? I mean, if we look at the track temps now, so it's 18 degrees ambient, 22 on track. It's currently damp, so no one really wants to be out there right now on wet tyres. Probably best staying on a slick setup until it actually gets properly wet. So I think most people will either be trying to get out now to set a half decent lap time. Obviously those lap times are probably going to get slower as the rain falls. So if you're smart, you're probably jumping out there now trying to get a time set on slicks, and then fingers crossed that you don't bin it whilst you're doing that. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Whilst we're watching Graham doing his outlap, of course we need to do Coops competition. So let's do that now. Every week we run a competition, and it's the same price every week. It's a free setup, any car, any track of your choice, excuse me, assuming you get the question right. Now normally Traction Dave jumps in here and uses Google and beats everyone else to it, but as he's racing, hopefully he won't be able to do that. So here's the question. We're at Brands. Last time I was at Brands, we had a question about what type of racing they kind of pioneered. A bit different this time. So Brands has been around for quite a long time. In 1976, there was about 100 and something thousand pound investment went into certain renovations on the track and the facilities. Once that was finished, they actually started to change some of the names on the corners, etc. And obviously this being COMMS by Coops, and everyone know me as Cooper, I thought I'd ask you all, what was the Cooper Straight formerly known as? Okay, so that's the question for this evening. What was the Cooper Straight formerly known as when they went through these renovations in 1976? Okay, so have a think about that and get your answers together. Don't post your answers in the chat just now, okay? When qualifying finishes, you can then put your answer in the chat, and a winner will obviously then get a choice, any setup, any class, any track, anything you want, okay? So good luck to you all for that. Anyway, so here we are in qualifying in the wet. So it's still damp at the moment, but you can see it's saying it's going to rain for the next 15 minutes or so. We better jump on board and see how it looks in that Merc. So let's do it. Okay, so down into Paddock Hill Bend. Be careful on that one. With it being greasy, it's going to be a bit slippy under the bridge. Hard on the brakes into Druids. First gear, keep it tight. Don't know how much that curb you're going to be able to use as it continues to get wet. Then we're going to come down towards Graham Hill Bend, which is a left-hander. Second gear, tuck her in, take that curb on the inside, let the car drift wide. So she's a little bit of a slide on there. Cooper Straight into Surtees. Very, very, you know, Surtees is a difficult corner when it's bone dry, let alone greasy at the moment. And then we've got the long straight heading down towards Pilgrim's Drop there. And then we've got the technical section, the right-handers. First one's Hawthorns. You've got to keep it tight. See where the curb just steps out there? That's where you want to get back on the power. And then you're running down to Westfields. Again, into third. Cut this curb as much as you can. And you want to be drifting out wider than that, probably. through Dingle Down, then up to Sheen Curve, my favourite one. Hard on the brakes, well, hard, down with the brakes, turn it in, hold on for dear life, and then on the power down towards Sterling's there. Sorry, I got distracted by looking at his traction control and ABS. Anyway, so then as we're going to come through Clark Curve back onto the Brabham Straight, so he's a second and a half up on his previous lap. Let's see what that actually transpires into. So crosses the line, goes first as you would expect, first one across. You can see the inputs there, and that one's invalid, getting a bit more slippy. Bit of a tank slapper on there for Graham. Obviously I'm not laughing at Graham, you know, that was quite entertaining. So let's have a look and see what everyone else is doing. So Graham, Fresh Brizzle, has set a time 1.5 seconds slower, so he's doing about a 1:30. Then Chica is a couple of attempts further down from that. Let's have a look at Chica. Obviously we've got Chica as our featured driver. Wrong button there. GT Jamie, good evening GT Jamie, I hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. Shame you can't be with us tonight, but I hope everything is all good. Right, let's get on board. Let's get on board with Chica. Chica was saying earlier on he's been doing quite a lot of practice in the wet, so without trying to curse him, let's see how that practice translates into lap time. Through Paddock Hill Bend, yeah, okay, managed to take that. He's going to get hard on the brakes, down into first, trail all the way in there. You can see, if you look at the bottom right hand corner, you can see the throttle and the brake inputs, and it looks like someone's, well, having some issues down there, because there's a lot going on, let's put it that way. Into Surtees, then on the brakes, turn them in, wait, then squeeze the power on. You can see he's changing up and down through those gears. He's trying to manage, obviously, the power output and the traction there. Doesn't want any wheel spin with the track being greasy. Down to, he's had to go to second there just to get more turn in. How much of this curve is he going to take, and how wide, how brave is he going to be? Pretty brave, that's nice, Chica. Down Dingle Down. Down with the brakes, turn it in. Come on, that's very nice. Look at that, using all the track there, and on the brakes, down into second gear. That was a very early turn in. You just listen to the tyres. But he's 6/10 up on his previous lap, so this is looking like a good improvement at the moment for Chica. And he's kept that in bounds. Okay, this looks promising. Oh, GT Jamie thought all the reserves had filled the grid, otherwise he could have made it. Well, that's a shame, mate. But anyway, I mean, I'll keep you entertained, hopefully. And Claire Gleeson, obviously, Claire, I did say not to put any answer on there until the end of qualifying, but there you go. So Claire's popped an answer in there and says oops. Well, oops, no, it's Coops. Coops, not oops. Right, so Graham is still on provisional pole. Michael, there we go. So these battle, as we said at the top of the show, Graham and Michael are tied on points for first place at the moment, and Lenny is only a few points behind them. And the top three, there you go, Graham, Michael and Lenny. Chica, with all that wet practice, that seems to be paying off quite well. Fresh Brizzle's currently in 5th place. Actually, let's change from that. We don't want to see people throwing it away. We'll go on heli cam so we can see how the car is actually moving on track whilst we have a quick look down there. So Fresh Brizzle is in the pits, he's into 5th, so that's a good showing from him at the moment. You're seeing these times are coming down, they're all within a second now. Hutch is up into 6th, that's impressive, Hutch, well done. I Am Slow, the controller, is currently in 7th place, he's a couple of tenths further back. And then Violet, who's one of our reserves this evening, he's currently in 8th. Gamer Dad in the Jag, of course. There she is, the slightly fluorescent pink Jag, Pink Panther, currently in 9th place, so I'm intrigued to see what he could do tonight. Crazy's in the Aston, yeah, he's plugging around, he needs to improve on that. Again, see, the thing is, I don't, you know, a lot of these chaps, obviously they've got busy lives. You know, they're looking after families, they're working. Who knows exactly how much time these guys have to practice? Well, I mean, I do know how much time it is. But some is obviously more than others. And I know Crazy's normally gets, maybe, if he's lucky, might be able to jump into free practice. And then he's got to think about setup. So he's currently 10th. Lenny's moved above Michael into second place at the moment. So there's only 15 thousandths between those two. That's what we like to see. Spacey is currently 11th in the Bentley. There he is. And that's another brightly coloured vehicle. Pony Feeder, who is in the Ferrari, is a reserve in for this evening. And he's reserved in with his teammate, Kino DJ. So, again, inter-team battle there. And I think Kino was saying to me on Tuesday that he thinks Pony Feeder's slightly quicker than him. Well, we'll find out tonight. Who is the Rainmeister? That's what we want to know, don't we? So Spacey's in 12th. Crazy's there. Pony Feeder's gone up to 9th. James has just popped a time in 13th at the moment in the Ferrari. And then we've got Yvolton in the McLaren, who's currently in the pits. Kino's in the pits in the other Ferrari. And then P1 Valium, Euphoric State and Traction Dave are yet to set a time. So Graham's just coming back out the pits. So we go on with Lely and see what the crack is. So he's on an outlap at the moment. Oh, sorry folks, I'm a bit thirsty, hold on. Yeah, again, this is the FRL, the latest edition FRL coffee holding device, which does a great job actually, although they didn't provide the coffee. James Williams though could probably make you guys a really good coffee, because he was saying the other day he's just bought a coffee machine which is, well, it's probably more than my house really. Probably not more than my house, but you get my drift. Okay, so Lely in the Bentley. She is moving around a little bit, so let's stay on board with Lely. We'll see what type of lap time he can put together. We've got just over 3 minutes left to qualifying, so these guys have probably got 2 laps left. Okay, so Brabham Straight down towards Paddock Hill Bend, balancing her through there. That throttle went on pretty early. He's got traction on 6. Don't blame him. Look at that, squirming all over the place under the bridge. She like on the brakes. She looks okay, stable under the brakes. She's had to wait a little bit there, as you would expect, going through Druids, down towards Graham Hill Bend, down into second gear, turn her in, get on the power early. Then we've got the short Coops straight. No jokes please about me being short, thank you. And then we're going to push down there towards Surtees. We're going to look for those two orange painted parts of the fence, if you like. You want to brake halfway between those, and then you've got to balance and hold it, but knowing you need to get on the power early, because we've got this big long straight now, as we're going to go down Pilgrim's Drop into the right hander of Hawthorns. Down 2. He's only gone down 1. Interesting. That wheel's moving around a lot. And then we're going to go into Westfield. Is he going to be brave? He is. He's going to invalidate that. But look at it. No, he's just kept that on track. Look at his steering wheel soaring at that. Wow, into Sheen Curve. That's going to be invalid. Okay, that Bentley does not look like she's having a fantastic time, I've got to say. That's going to give on fresh Brizzle. Look at that in the other Bentley. So we're talking about the the issues potentially that Lely's having at the moment. But Fresh Brizzle's gone to slap that on provisional pole with a 28.1. That's a great lap. Well done you. So Graham's now in second. Lely's third. Michael's fourth in the pits. So we'll need to see if he's going to come back out. Traction, his teammate. Nice. Traction's up to 5th. That will please him. So Chica's still hanging in there, 6th place. I am slow 7th. And then Hutch is still in the top 10. That's a great effort, Hutch, at the moment. Well done. Yvolton, James, Crazy's Gamer Dad, etc. Right. I would throw that question out there again, everyone, for Coops competition, but we've only got a minute left to qualify him. So Claire, you are correct. You are totally correct. It was the old bottom straight. Now, if my wife was here, she'd probably say something about Cooper having an old bottom straight or something like that, but I don't know. So, well done, Claire. You are the winner of this week's competition. Now, the prize is a car setup for any car, any track. but I don't think you're driving, are you? I think you're obviously supporting Keno. So it's up to you. You can let me know. You can ask him, and then we can do it that way. It'll be fine. We'll sort it out. So well done, you. Fresh Brizzle is still on provisional pole. 23 seconds. Let's get on board with Graham. Oh, that was actually Pony Feeder or Keno. That's just off the track. I think it was Pony Feeder. So Graham, let's see. Is he going to be able to snatch? He is up on his current time. 3.5 tenths. Graham's got to push this now. What's he going to do, ladies and gents? He's not going to get another lap in, so this is it. This is do or die. Onto the Brabham straight. Power is on early. He's losing time though, so he's going to be a couple of tenths up. Is he going to move up? Let's see. No, Graham, he's actually moved down. He's gone down to third, so who's popped into second? Lely. Okay, so the Bentley boys are doing pretty well at the moment. Got to be said. Yes, indeed, Fresh Brizzle gets in there. That was a brilliant lap, mate. Brilliant lap. So, qualifying is finished, ladies and gents. We've still got a couple going around, so we will... Lely's actually still going for it, so we'll see. It's not going to let me go onto him. It seems like he's maybe slowed a little bit. So, Lely could potentially still get that. That looks like that might have just been invalidated, though. So, as it stands, Fresh Brizzle is first. Lely is going to line up next to him on the front row, depending on what happens on this particular lap. Graham and Michael, well, you can't separate those two at the moment. They're lining up on row 2. Then you've got Traction Dave, Michael's teammate. He's on the third row alongside Spacey. That's another great run from him. Another Bentley up there. Chica, our featured driver. Top Scott, he's in 7th place with our Australian friend, the controller. He's in 8th. Then we've got Violet, who I believe is the first of our reserves. He's lining up next to Gamer Dad. Then you've got your Euphoric State and Crazies, your Volton and James, and then Keno and Valium. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting race. Who's going to do what? What's the weather going to do? I mean, if we look at the weather, it's saying it's going to rain for the next 15 minutes, but it's saying the rain's going to ease off a little bit. So, are people going to go out there? It's greasy at the moment, but that doesn't mean to say it's not going to turn for wet and then change again. So, these boys, they thought they were going to have it easy. They thought they were going to have a nice little drive around Brands in the sunshine. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to be a tough one. So strategy is going to play a really, really big part in this today. Again, excuse me while I just use my fantastic FRL mug. So what do we think, guys and girls, in the live chat? Who's our money on? Obviously, Fresh Brizzle's probably going to put the money on himself. That might be a good bet. Michael and Graham down into Druids. That could be very, very interesting. So let's get up there so we can have a good look at this. So 3 minutes to go. Setup time. Now, I think Chico will probably be quite confident at the moment in terms of he's obviously done quite a bit of wet running. Has anyone else done any wet running? I don't know. I don't know what everyone else has been doing in terms of their practice time. So we will have to watch and find out. But those track conditions are going to make things evidently tricky. And normally when we're starting a race off, we've got to think about those tyre temperatures. We've got to think about the fuel loads that we've got on, how that's going to affect the car into those first few corners, or indeed the first lap, in terms of additional weight, where we need to brake, how that weight's going to affect turning, where it's going to make the weight transfer on the car. So that's normally difficult enough without having the weather changes in there as well. So these boys... Great. Somebody says, okay, I know where you live. 1 second. Thank. Oh, no. I need to... Oh, that's alright. Good, someone knows where I live. I know where I live too. And if you guys want to know where I live, just send me a message. I'll tell you. I mean, you can all come around for a party. I'm quite happy with that. Oh, yeah, certainly. Great, great. Okay, so I don't know who. Okay, I got it from the accent. Okay, who are you? You need to enlighten me. We can't have a chat on live chat if I don't know who you are. Yes, I am, but my accent isn't really a southern accent because I'm not actually from this part of the country. Anyway, 36 seconds to go until we get started. So again, we've had a pretty close qualifying session there. I wasn't expecting Fresh Brizzle, no disrespect to Brizzle, to be on pole there. And other than that, we have got the usual suspects at the top there. Now, Chica's our featured driver of the day today, and he's got himself, I think, 7th at the moment, so he's going to be happy with that. And secretly, he's probably hoping there's going to be some action in front of him and he can pick up some places. But again, I did say when I was doing the interview with him that he did seem to attract issues in the previous iteration of sort of GT3 Sundays through no fault of his own. So hopefully that doesn't happen to him this evening as they pull away for the formation lap. They shouldn't be driving through each other. Viner needs to back out a little bit there. Just a fan of my commentary. Correct. Thank you. That's actually what I do it for, to keep you guys entertained. So formation lap underway. Fresh Brizzle, he's going to lead them round. Everyone's going to be probably fighting quite hard at the moment to get the temperatures in those tyres. I hope they've set their brake ducts correctly as well. That's going to be a key factor. Yeah, no, I do live down south. Okay, I'm just not from here originally, but I've lived down south for about 20 years, mate. So that's where the accent will come from. It's a bit of everything, really. We're currently following Lenny. I think Violet needs to just back out a little bit to where his actual position was. We don't actually allow driving through cars. It puts everyone else off. You've got to think everyone's been practicing hard. They've done the qualifying session. They've set everything up nicely. And the last thing they want now is, to have their eye taken off the ball because people are driving through them. So let's hope he moves back on that. So for the start, we will be looking at the front row. We'll be looking at Lely and Fresh Brizzle. But obviously we're on Helicam, so we should be able to catch everything else as it happens. Now I am expecting quite a frantic start on this one. Hopefully a very clean one though. That's obviously what we do want. So they're all beginning to form up 2 by 2. Hopefully they're all on the right side of the track. Thank you, okay. I appreciate you saying that. It's very nice. Very nice of you. Let's hope I'll keep up for the whole race. Right, anyway, guys and girls, here we go. Are we ready? So, coming onto the Brabham Straight currently. Now we're getting ready. And we wait. And we wait. And we wait. And we go. And they're off. And they are moving it. And Fresh Brizzle's got a very good start there. You see Graham's coming up the inside. He's going to get the move done on Lely. He's got himself a bit out of shape there though, and you can see at the back there, I'll check that in a minute, but we've had someone who's been turned around at the back. Graham does manage to get it up into second place, so that was well done by him, so he's picked one up. Violet's up into, obviously the timing screens are doing their thing, so you can see there. Let's come off that so we can just watch the driving. So Fresh Brizzle's first, Graham second, Lely's third, and then we've got, that's probably Michael Races in fourth in that McLaren there. He was showing his nose to Lely, and then Traction Dave's in fifth, and that's a Merc behind, so I think that's Chica who's made up a place there. So these boys are going at it, and Graham looks like he's already going for a move. Let's get on board and let's see that happen. Again, we've got Lely all in his mirrors. You can see just how, and Michael's cut the track there as well. He's going to run wide. He's got Traction Dave behind him. So, told you it's going to be busy as we get into there for the first time. Fresh Brizzle's gone wide. He's going to come across. Graham's done really, really well not to hit him there. And as they now run side by side, no, he's backed out of that. So, Lely's gained a position there. Okay. So Lenny's actually gained there. Fresh Brizzle, he looks like he's going to lose out to Michael as well. Down the Brabham Straight, you can see those two behind him. I'm just going to keep an eye on Helicam here. We'll see them come through anyway on the angle. Fresh Brizzle was on the inside of Michael there, keeps that. You can see, you can actually see Chica's got ahead of Traction Dave as well. So There has been movement on this first lap, as we expect. Michael dives up the inside on Druids there. Where is he? There he is. And he gets that move done. He's going to go slightly defensive now, but he looks like he's got that. Fresh Brizzle's gone for a spin. Fresh Brizzle is out, and Traction's hit him, unfortunately. Oh dear, oh dear. It looks like he had an absolutely massive tank slapper there. Probably couldn't do anything apart from get in the way of Traction. Gamer Dad's got himself up to 8th place. And then James Williams there, you saw him probably have a little door knock there with the McLaren of I Am Slow. So again, there's movement all over the place. You can't take your eyes off it. Can't take your eyes off it. So Williams, he's got past I Am Slow. He's now chasing down Gamer Dad. So he's made up a couple of places there. Gonna be happy with that. Gamer Dad is now chasing Pony Feeder, who, remember, is Keno DJ's teammate. And those two, look at Hutch. Hutch is up into 6th place. That is... Hutch, I'm impressed. Although, you do have someone all over the back of you, but you are putting a lot of pressure on Euphoric State at the moment. Let's have a quick look at this one, guys, because there will be really close battles all over this race. I absolutely guarantee it. So when we see one, we need to have a look at it. And Hutch, Hutch has been in that Ferrari for a little while now. I think he's getting used to her more. He's beginning to tame her as they go through Paddock Hill Bend. Euphoric State is very, very quick in that Porsche, though, I must say. He is quick in that Porsche, but then you can see Pony Feeder there, and then behind them you've got James, Gamer Dad. Look at those two, they're having a scrap as well, aren't they? Let's go and have a look at that. So we've got a lot going on here. So Graham is still currently up top. Let's change the view, folks, so you can see what's going on. So Graham was currently still up top. Lenny's behind him half a second. Then Michael is in 3rd place at the moment. He's a further second down the road there in the McLaren. Chica's doing really well at the moment. Chica's up into 4th place. Definitely going to be happy with that. He is the featured driver this week, and according to me, our top Scot. He wasn't complaining. Euphoric State is in 5th place. Euphoric has been threatening a really, really, really strong result for about 3 weeks now. And there's always something just happens that takes that away from him. So I'm hoping tonight he can have a more consistent run. Hutch is in 6th, but no, Hutch is not in 6th place. He's just had an off, as you can see. I Am Slow's looking to take advantage of that now. Did they have a love tap? Potentially. Someone's gone wide in front of them. You saw the dust kicking up there as well. And I Am Slow absolutely neck and neck. They're giving each other room. They are giving each other room. Hutch has got a slow drive out of there. And so that means he's going to... Is that Spacey? He's going to take him as well. So Hutch has gone from 6th down to 12th. That's not going to please him too much. And hopefully he doesn't have any damage. But back to the order of things. So Pony Feeder's now in 6th place. And there we go, guys. I think we should probably jump on board this little scrap, because it looks quite interesting. So we've got on board with Gamer Dad. Gamer Dad's in 7th place. He's chasing down Pony Feeder. Just a half a second between them. Let's have a listen to that Jag for a moment. She's so angry. And then obviously just behind him we've got Violent, who's one of our reserves, and James is, you can see James is in the background there. He seems to have dropped off a little bit though. So Gamer Dad, he's in a Ferrari sandwich at the moment. Nothing that's going to worry him. Nothing phases Gamer Dad. He's as cool as they come. So you can see that's very close. Let's keep an eye on that whilst we have a look at the time. So Lenny's still in 2nd place. Michael's still in 3rd. If anything, Lenny looks like he's pulled a 10th back on Graham there. As Gamer Dad makes that move. No, he doesn't. What am I talking about? He keeps Violent behind him, but those two are ridiculously close. So Michael's pulled 3 tenths back on Lenny. Lenny's dropped 3 or 4 tenths on Graham, so I'm guessing Lenny's had an issue there, which has cost him a few tenths. Euphoric State is still in 5th place. Pony Feeder is there in the Ferrari, as you can see, just going around Druids. Then we've got Gamer Dad and James have a crash, and then, oh dear, then I Am Slow couldn't do anything there. He couldn't do anything about that, so I Am Slow went into Gamer Dad. Gamer Dad's doing the professional thing and waiting. He's probably hoping no one else takes him out, because that's just going to be racking up the damage. And I think you'll probably see Gamer Dad in the pits at the end of this lap to do his pit stop. Again, unfortunate, but that's... Hey, Hutch gave away 6 places on the last lap, and he just gained 3 on this one. So again, there's a lot of stuff going on. There we go, and he's ported back in the pits. Okay. Interesting. So Spacey is currently in 8th. Hutch has got himself back up to 9th, so he's been in the top 10 again. I Am Slow is currently 10th place and holding that. And then Traction Dave, who obviously, remember, qualified really, really well. Had that, well, Fresh Bizzle had that spin as he was coming onto the Cooper straight. And, I mean, who is that? I'm going to find out who that is in a minute. Had that spin, or massive tank slapper, and then obviously Traction got caught up in that, so he finds himself down in 11th place, unfortunately. Keno's in 12th. Keno DJ, who's well, one of his family members, if I remember correctly, has just won our Coops competition for the day, so well done Claire again. He's in 12th. Yvolton in the McLaren, he's currently in 13th place. I know Yvolton's already done a race this evening, I think, and he did a 6-hour race yesterday with Chica and James, so those boys have really been putting the time in for FRL, which is awesome, and we love seeing that. But again, here they are tonight, battling away. Fresh Bizzle was our pole sitter, remember, and race leader when he had that tank slapper, so he finds himself down in 14th. I'm surprised he hasn't ducked it in the pits yet. So we'll see what his strategy is. James is in 15th at the moment. He obviously had that crash a few moments ago. Him and Gamer Dad obviously wanted to love each other a little bit too much. And then Crazies is in 16th. Now, we need to watch Crazies because we know that in terms of pit stops, he is amazing. We know in terms of strategy, he doesn't very often make a bad call. So he's been in and he's already taken his pit stop. So the ambient temperature's risen by a couple of degrees. The track temperature has risen by 4 degrees, and there's no rain on the radar at the moment. So that could be a very smart move by him, and we'll see how that unravels, shall we say. P1 Valium, our other reserve, is in 17th at the moment. He's also done his pit stop, and then Gamer Dad is still in the pit. So if he comes onto the chat, I hope he'll let me know what's going on with that. But yeah, let's get back up top because we've got a challenge, peeps. We have got a challenge for the lead. So Lely obviously had an issue a couple of laps ago because he lost a couple of tenths, but you can see he's all over the back of Graham at the moment. And look in that rear view mirror. In fact, let's have a look over the wing. There's Michael. So Graham, Michael and Lely, they are your top 3 in the championship, and these are the 3 that are, you know, they're absolutely together again. I think the track has dried out and will stay dry now, so it's now just literally a question of consistency and raw pace. Graham doesn't really need this from Lely at the moment, but don't forget, Lely can still win this championship. He's only, what was it, 8 points? Yeah, he's on 100 points, they're on 108. He's only 8 points behind these two, so it's all to play for with this and just Silverstone left to go. And if you remember, when we was in qualifying, when we was doing our lap guides and we were on board with Ledy, she didn't look happy, did she? He was sawing away at that steering wheel, but at the moment, I was going to say at the moment, she doesn't look. She looks a lot happier, but that move could have ended in all sorts of tears as Michael was trying to close in on these two in the McLaren. Michael's game plan at the moment is definitely going to be just keep close to Lely. Doesn't need to make a move on him at the moment. Everyone's sorting themselves out. Everyone's getting into their groove now. The track's drying out properly. So if he can stick close to Lely and put some pressure on him, that's either going to push him to maybe miss a braking point or overshoot something, which could have an effect on Graham because they're all so close. That would be my thinking anyway if I was inside that helmet of Michael's. Obviously I wouldn't be, I'm not that small, but you know. So let's watch these 3. As they glide around the track, really. It's a pleasure to watch, isn't it, when they're driving this close. And you know these guys are all absolutely on the limit. Look at that. Lely wants a piece. I don't know. I don't know if Graham's holding him up at the moment. I think Graham probably is holding him up. In terms of where they qualified, Lely qualified 2nd. And Graham, I think, qualified 3rd. And you just saw the pink Panther Gamer Dad still in the pit. So I think Gamer Dad might have thrown the towel in there. Can't seem having that much damage at the moment. as we watch the top three. We're not going to come away from it. I'm just going to have a look at the other, where everyone else is. So Chica at 4th place. That is very good running from him at the moment. He's 4 seconds off this battle. So these guys, you can see, are split by sort of 4, 5 tenths. That's it. That's how close the top three are. Chica's in 4th. Euphoric State is currently running 5th. He's another 5 seconds down. Pony Feeder, he's currently top reserve. He's in 6th place. Violet is in 7th. There's a decent gap between those two. Spacey's just taken Viner, actually. Spacey's put it up into 7th place. I'm not going to come off this one for a moment, though, because if we miss a move for the lead, that's not going to be great for everyone, is it? So Viner finds himself in 8th. Traction Dave, he's moved up a couple of places because he was 11th when we last looked at him. He's up to 9th. I'm Slow is still 10th, so he's holding that position well. Keno is 11th currently in that 177 Ferrari. Fresh Brizzle has fought his way back through. Remember, he qualified pole, was leading the race, got a big tank slapper as we were getting onto Cooper Straight, and then ended up collecting Traction Dave and Spurn, and then I Am Slow tagged him as well. It was a bit messy, to be honest, so he ended up down the grid. He's fighting his way back. He's currently up to 12th place. James Williams is 13th. He also has been in an incident this evening, actually with Gamer Dad, and then Uvolton is 14th in the McLaren, the 69 McLaren, as Lenny gets good drive down into Graham Hill Bend onto the Cooper Straight. The point is, it's such a tight, twisty track. It's not a very wide track, obviously, Brands. So it is difficult to overtake on. You know, if you're positioning that car and you're running a similar pace to the other people, they're going to have to take some pretty big risks to try and get that move done. And I don't think those risks are worth it at this stage of the race. We've had a quarter of the race nearly. These are the top three. They're also the top three in the championship. These three drivers are only separated by 8 points currently. So none of them can afford to make a mistake, because you're going to lose a lot of points to your competitors. But at the same time, they're racers, so they want to get one over on each other. Of course they do. Chica's 13th. He's been in for the pits. Thought Lely was going to touch Graham then, but didn't. Again, I think you've seen some good placement from Graham in that Merc. Crazies is in 14th. Hutch 15th. Those three have pitted. James has now, I think, gone in for his pit stop. He's in 16th. Then Valium is in 17th. Gamer Dad is still sat in the pit. So in terms of movers, these are still your closest battle. Spacey's got some pace on him at the moment, so he's just moved up to 5th. Pony Feeder's dropped 2 places there, so he must potentially have had an issue there. But I can't come off this. There's only 2 tenths between these guys. And we've got to get on board with this, because it's all on top. It's in front, back, everywhere. What are they thinking? Are they panicking at the moment? Are they panicking? Are they cool? Are they calm? Are they thinking about, okay, it's coming up towards my pit window? Are they thinking, oh my word, there's Hutch in front of us, please get out the way, because there's a 3-way battle for the lead going on here. Hutch, you need to do the right thing, pal, and I'm sure he will. I'm not saying you should just absolutely jump out the way into the wall, but Hutch has lost it. Is that going to impact anyone? And Michael's lost it. I think Michael saw Hutch. Oh dear, oh dear. So I think Michael races there, saw Hutch having his accident, and I think that probably caused him to react momentarily. It might have been like a millimetre lift on the throttle or something like that, but just as he was going through that corner, any type of lift there is going to unbalance that car. With it being so aero dependent, you saw the back end step on him, so I'm assuming that's what's happened there. I'm pretty confident that's what's happened there. So the top 3 battle is now a top 2 battle, which that's going to please Lenny a lot. It's going to take a lot of pressure off him. He can now just concentrate on what's in front of him rather than worrying about what's behind him. And Michael, poor lad, he's not going to be overly happy with that. But also, he's got some clean air in front of him now, so he can pump in some quick laps rather than, you know, the whole thing of being held up by someone worrying about braking zones, where, you know, what's going to happen, second guessing what everyone's doing. So, you know, I'm sure he'll be back. They're just up the top of the road there. I'm sure he'll be back with them in sort of 2 or 3 laps. Euphoric State is currently in 4th place, but look, Spacey's got some real pace, some real pace. And why is he moved out of the way? Oh, no, it's Hutch, isn't it? That's probably why. Hutch is getting out of the way like a good boy. I thought that was Spacey, it's not. So Euphoric State there in 5th, followed by... Euphoric State's in front of him. Oh, I thought Euphoric... Yeah. Ah, Jesus. So Euphoric State's had an issue there as well. Same corner. This is what's happening, you see. People are getting put under pressure now. You know, the tyres... I'm not saying the tyres are starting to wear. Depends, obviously, on what setup they put on, because at the start of the race, it was still damp, wasn't it? So, yeah, Euphoric State thinks, no, she don't feel right. I'm going to duck her straight into the pits and get my stop done. I think that's a very wise move, Euphoric. I think that's a good move, mate. So, Graham's out in front still. Lenny's still only a tenth behind him. This is like last week, except last week it was Graham and Michael. I mean, there's just nothing between them. So Michael's now 3.6 seconds off the pace. Spacey's in 4th. He's done really well this evening, actually. He's moved up through the field nicely. He's taken the opportunities when they presented themselves. Violence, again, he's keeping him honest. He's not far behind him. Then we've got Pony Feeder. Traction Dave now finds himself up into 7th place. I Am Slow is 8th. And then Keno is in the top 10. So well done, Keno. He's in 9th. And Fresh Brizzle is bringing up the top 10. So, I mean, I'm sure he's happy that he's making his way up through the field. This is currently the closest battle we still have on track. Please don't think that I'm just hogging the top 2. I never do that. I like to make sure everybody gets good airtime. But obviously, the battle's got to be there unless everybody is gapped very similarly. So I'm not just going to move away for the sake of it. So, in terms of the guys that are pitted so far, Euphoric State is ahead of that group. So Euphoric's pitted, he's in 12th. Crazy's 13th, Chica 14th, Hutch 15th, James Williams 16th, Valium 17th. Gamer Dad 9 laps down. He's obviously not playing anymore, unfortunately. So let's have a look at Keno. Keno DJ, he's got Fresh Brizzle behind him, and he's got I Am Slow in front. So this is probably going to develop into something quite interesting. And let's have a look at how that Ferrari is handling this evening compared to the other vehicles we've had a look at. I Am Slow was really, really tight to that wall there, wasn't he? Nice power delivery there. Not bad, not bad. And of course, the quickest man. I mean, you can't say he's not the quickest man. He was on pole for qualifying and was leading the race, but obviously he's had that issue. He's trying to fight his way through the field. It looks like he is gaining some time there. Keno's ringing that neck of that Ferrari. Blue flags, don't know why they're waving. They don't need to be waving at the moment. He had to back out of that there though. How brave is he going to be on those curbs? Careful. Okay, she's alright. She's so sketchy, man. She's so sketchy. Down with the brakes, turn in, power. I Am Slow. A little bit all over the track there, but if you remember last week when I was talking to I Am Slow as the featured driver, he actually brought an entire fan club with him from Canada, Sweden. Obviously he hasn't brought them with him today, but yeah, he's got a good following as I Am Slow. So Keno starts another lap, Brabham straight. Is he really gaining? There's a lot of similarly paced. This is what I was saying at the start, at the top of the show. You know, again, it's really competitive grid, and there's not much between any of them. So Michael's pulled a second back there. Good. That's going to become a three-way fight. I did say sort of 3-4 laps. We'll see. We'll give them 2 more, see if we can get on the back of them. Space is still in 4th, Violent 5th, Pony Feeder, Traction Dave, I Am Slow. So then we've got this battle that we're watching at the moment, I Am Slow and Keno. And Fresh Prison wants to join them. So those 3 are separated by less than a second, which is great to see. Yvolton is up to 11th. He's probably going to run long. Yvolton likes to run long, as I Am Slow makes a mistake there, and he's made another one. That's going to give Keno a chance. And Fresh Prison was thinking, come on, let's get on the back of these dudes. Let's see. Maybe an internet issue. You can see It's quite a large red line there, so he might be having some lag issues, which is always dangerous because it can cause the rubber banding. And that never helps when you're driving and you're trying to figure out, actually, where is this person? Crazies is in 12th, Chica 13th. So Euphoric State, who was top of that pile of guys that had pitted, is now not. Keno thought about a move up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend, thought better of it. And that's given I Am Slow a little bit of breathing space there. 3/10, 1.5. So Michael's got the bit between his teeth. He's brought that down from 2.1 seconds to 1.5. So now it's 1.2. So as I say, he will be on the back of these two shortly. And he's either going to be driving, you know, very determined and try and gun straight past them both. Or he's then going to find himself sat there as he was previously. Let's jump on board with Keno because this race is definitely closer. I'm just waiting for that Ferrari, that back end of that Ferrari there, just to try and give him some issues. I don't want it to, obviously, but that's, you know, that's usually where she gives me problems on this track. As we go through Sterling's there, a little bit wide, so he's probably had to wait just a couple of little nanoseconds to get on the power. But if the other person isn't waiting, then they're going to get an advantage on you. As Fresh Brizzle behind is still trying to chase these two down. Let's have a look what's going on elsewhere. So there we go, Michael's now almost under a second. We're going to have a look at that shortly. Spacey's doing a great job in 4th. Traction is still 7th, Ponyfeed is 6th, and then we've got this battle. So we've got two close battles going on at the moment. Chica is a second behind Crazies, down in 13th place. Euphoric State is in 14th. James still 15th, and then Valium and Hutch. But remember, 12th to 17th have all completed their pit stop, so they're now probably running to the end. We've now got an Opti track as well, so anyone who's still running this part of the race might want to tweak their tyres and stuff like that now on the fly, because we do have an optimal track. As you can see, I Am Slow just went over a bit there, so Lenny's still 3.5 tenths behind Graham at the front of this race, and Michael's, that's gap now to about 1.2, so he seems to be just holding fast at the moment, watching how things pan out, no doubt. So can Keno get close enough to I Am Slow to make a move? Is he wary in terms of potential lag issues? Does he not want to push it too hard in case a mistake happens? I mean, he knows he's got Brizzle right behind him. He looks down the inside again into Paddock Hill Bend. It's not going to happen there. I suppose he's trying to out-psych I Am Slow. So if he pushes wide, he's going to get... he's not going to get as good a run up the hill towards Druids, so he can maybe take advantage of that. And that almost did actually happen there, but didn't. So as they come round Graham Hill Bend onto Cooper's Straight up towards Surtees, he's got to get a good run out of here. He's got to get a good run to try and get a toe down to the quick right-handers. He has got a good run out of there. See what develops on this. Fresh Brizzle's a second behind, keeping a watching brief. Let's get on board with I Am Slow and just see how it feels to be the hunted, as it were. And we've got someone else trying to join the party behind Fresh Brizzle there as well. So that's James Williams is looking to get involved. That's a good drive. It's a good drive out there by I Am Slow, or Peter, or the controller. That's the great thing now. Everyone knows everyone's got about 28 different names now, and it's all great. So on to Brabham Straight, no change there. They're very, very close. It's going to take a mistake, I feel, for something to give between these three. Or given that there's only 33.5 minutes left of the race, it will probably come down to pit stops. So who's got their pit stop nailed? What strategy are they going to run? Are they going to go in just for fuel and take a 25-second stop and no tyres? Are they going to go in for fuel and tyres and take a 30-second stop? They have better tyres. These are the beautiful anomalies that we can't answer, can we? We just have to watch. Okay, elsewhere on the track, just while keeping on these two, there are only 2 temps in it now. I'm going to move on to this. And you watch, a move will probably happen with Keno and I am slow now. So if it does, sorry boys. Where's Michael? Michael's just... I hope Michael hasn't eaten up all of his tyres. Excuse me. Vine at 5th. So Space is coming for his pit stop from 4th place. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out in comparison to Crazy's. To see if his early pit stop has paid off. Pony Feeder's in 6th. Obviously these positions are going to change now. Space is in the pits. Then we've got Traction Dave, I Am Slow, Keno DJ, Fresh Brizzle, Yavolton, Chica, Featured Driver. Let's do it. There we go. There's Chica, Top Scott. He's currently in 13th place, chasing down Crazies. These two have both pitted, remember, so this is for track position. Oh, Crazy's got way out of shape there, and that was nicely gobbled up there. Chica just slipped it up the inside of him, placed the car beautifully on the apex, made sure he got the drive out, and then he's just covered off that inside line so that Crazies doesn't make any comeback move on him. Euphoric State, he's catching these two up as well, so we could have a very interesting race there between those three. Fresh Brazil, he decides to pit. So Graham is still going for it out up front. Then you got Lenny and Michael, so your top 3 hasn't changed, but you've just seen that Lenny's coming in to do his stops, and this is where things are going to start getting spicy. Obviously we need to watch this because that looks pretty spicy as well, but pit stop strategies are now taking effect. Let's have a listen to the Aston. She sounds great. I love the Aston. Again, FRL coffee delivery device. Look right there. Look, Coops Corner. It's fantastic. Check it out on the website www.formularacingleague.co.uk, as well as all the other amazing things you can check out on there in terms of events, the drivers, the teams, the stats, all the different things that we do on there. We've got a merchandise shop where you can buy some really cool stuff, like the stuff I'm wearing. You can pay me and I'll come and graffiti your whiteboard like I've done mine. It's fine, don't mind. It's all good. Who's that just ducking that? And that was an aggressive move into the pits, wasn't it? So Crazies wants that position back from Chica, and Chica's going to be like, no thanks mate, I'm the top Scot, I am the featured driver for the day. And then you're probably going to see Crazies make a move now. So Michael, so Graham's gone into the pit, so Michael is leading the race at the moment. As you've just heard, we are currently halfway through this race, 30 minutes left to go. Tyre strategies, fuel strategies, everything going on with the pits. Are we doing manual stops? Are we doing automatic stops? Are we getting the run to the pit line correct? All these things are now coming into play, and they will all make a massive difference to the outcome of this race, because if you get it right, you can gain a lot of time. If you get it wrong, well, you're going to lose a lot of time, aren't you? You're going to lose places. And as we've seen so far with the racing, it's been close, and it's been very, very good racing so far. Places are not easy to come by at brands in Tier 1. Probably in Tier 2 and Tier 3, the same, but especially in Tier 1, they're not easy to come by, as we're watching Crazies putting on some consistent pressure over Chica at the moment. So Graham's just coming out of the pits. There's Lenny. So Graham has pulled. Nice. Right, Graham's definitely pulled a bit of time there on Lenny during the pit stops. What's Michael gonna do? Lenny's not gonna be happy with that. So either Graham didn't take tyres and he just went fuel only, which is obviously 5 second quicker pit stop. Lenny might have elected for tyres and fuel. Graham might have just done a quicker stop and a quicker in-lap as well. So we'll see how all this unfolds. Vinot's gone into the pits as well. So Michael's out top at the moment on Cooper Straight. I think what Michael needs to do at the moment, I think he needs to try and go as long as he can on those tyres. He's got completely free air in front of him at the moment, and he needs to make hay while the sun's shining and try and pump in some quick, consistent laps where there's nothing's hampering him. Because remember, before they came in for the pit stops, there was only about 1.1 seconds, and that's probably pushing it, between the top three. So this is a really important stage, and the fact that Graham... What's happened there? Who's gone in? So Vinot's ducked it in the pits. Okay, so Graham's now 1.4 seconds ahead of Lely. That's a great job he's done in the pits there. Vinot's in the pits. Keno DJ's in the pits from 8th place. Your Volton is currently 9th, but he's going to elevate himself due to that. And Ponyfeeder's staying out long as well. And he's got Traction Dave all over the back of him. Let's have a look at Traction. Let's have a listen to that Macca. I believe you saw a little bit of flashing there from Traction. He's trying to put Ponyfeeder off. Obviously this is for position. These two could pit at exactly the same time and have a race in the pit lane, you never know. In fact, that might actually be what ends up happening. Let's have a look. There you go. So Ponyfeeder did indicate to let him know, which was very kind of him. That's the type of racing you get here. So Ponyfeeder goes into the pits. Traction is now running second place. We've currently got a McLaren 1-2, look at that. Michael and Traction 1 and 2. Ponyfeeder's in the pits. So Graham, Lely, Spacey, Chica. Okay, Chica's ended up back in 7th place. Obviously he pitted quite early. That looks like it's worked out pretty well for him. Crazies finds himself in 8th place. Euphoric State 9th. Those guys are having a nice close little race together as well, aren't they? Your Volton's 10th, Viner is 11th, I Am Slow 12th, Keno DJ is 13th, with Fresh Brizzle 14th. I feel for Fresh Brizzle today. He had a great pole time. He was really chuffed for that on the live chat. He was like, get in. Started the race really well, kept the lead, and then just obviously had that tank slapper on the Cooper Straight, which effectively ruined his afternoon, and caused a few others to go along the same way. Unfortunately, we've got Gamer Dad, who is currently sat in the pits, 19 laps. He had quite a big issue. I think it was actually he had an issue with James, and then he had an issue with someone else. I think it was I Am Slow, and yeah, that was terminal for him. And James is also in the pits, 6 laps in. So I think him and Gamer are probably just having a chat, maybe. Don't know. Traction comes into the pits. So Michael and Yvolton are currently the only two that haven't pitted, and it sounds like Michael's been listening and he's taking that advice, trying to pump in those laps. So he's got currently, so we've got 24 seconds back there. Lenny's cut that down from 1.4 seconds to 0.6. That's interesting. So Lenny's putting on the pressure at the right time for Michael. If you think about it, if you think about what's going on at the moment, you know, Graham and Lenny, they're net leaders, so Traction's in the pits there. Lenny's putting real pressure on Graham, and he was before the pit stops, actually. It looked like that Bentley probably had, as he makes a move, Graham's gone wide, and they touch. They do touch. It was only a little door bang. There wasn't anything particularly special about that one, so I'm sure they'll be alright. But Lenny gets ahead of IR Graham, which he was trying to do for the first 20-25 minutes of this race. Now let's see what pace he's got, because I did say earlier on I felt like Graham was slightly holding him up. And Michael's in the pits. Okay, right, so you know what we're going to do. It's a beautiful pink Jag though, Gamer Dad. She is beautiful. So Michael's in the pits. Where is, and Lely is just coming around Westfields, yeah, okay, Dingledale, right, so he's over there, and let's see then, this is going to be really, really close, through Sheen, down towards Sterling, on the brakes, he's gapping, he's put 6/10 between him and Graham already. Michael's not moving yet, as Lenny's coming up to the last corner. Michael starts to move now, so he's got to trundle down the pit lane. Obviously Lenny's going to be at full tilt, so I think Lenny will regain the lead of this race As you're going to see him flash by now as he comes underneath me. And there we go. So, Lely only just in first place. Michael, okay, so after the pit stops, Graham's lost out massively here. I mean, Graham actually did a really great pit stop and managed to pull out almost 2 seconds on Lely through the pit stops. Lely's managed to make the move stick, and Michael's ran long, as I suggested he should do in clean air, and he finds himself now in second place. So, again, think about the championship standings. Michael and Graham, these two, are both on 108 points. They're top. The chap in second place, you know, third place, joint first guys, is Lely, who is only 8 points behind them. So if Lely wins this race and those two finish where they are, again, that's going to change things going into the last round. It's fantastic. Spacey is in fourth. Spacey's having a great run today in that Bentley, the number 12 Bentley. He's been quite going about his business. He moved up the field quite rapidly, and he's done his pit stop as well, so he's looking good for a strong points finish at the moment. Euphoric State, again, quick in that Porsche. We did catch an incident earlier on, which was unfortunate, but he's currently running in 5th place. But he has got our featured driver, Chica, who's got his best buddy Crazies all over the back of him still. They have been nose to tail for quite a while now. Let's keep an eye on them. Let's really keep an eye on them, shall we? Aston versus the Merc. You can see that Porsche squirming around in front of Euphoric State. So all of this is for position. So again, we've got your top 3 are battling really, really close together, and then literally Spacey's got his own little race at the moment, and then we've got Euphoric State, Chica and Crazies. They're having their own battle, which is great to see. See how close Crazies gets to the back of Chica's Merc. Nothing doing there though. And this is all allowing Euphoric State just to ease ahead a little bit more. And then we've got P1 Valium there in the Ferrari just in front of these guys. Obviously he's laps down, so he needs to make sure he is getting out of the way, or allowing the cars behind to do a safe pass, which is obviously what they should do in terms of blue flags and GT racing. Not everyone knows that. Everyone assumes you've got to jump out of the way, but you don't. So that one has gapped itself a little bit now. So Lenny is still out top. He's pulled nearly 1.5 seconds on Michael, who's then managed to also create a gap of almost, no, it's not a second, that's come down. So I think Michael's had an issue there. You can see Graham's all over the back of him as we're coming out of Paddock Hill. Spacey's still in 4th, then these 3 having their battle. We will keep an eye on those splits. Vinet's doing a great job in 8th. Traction is currently in 9th. Volton has managed to get himself in the McLaren up into the top 10, but has not pitted yet. So I mean, he might just be enjoying the view for a little while, but he's not going to finish there. Not at this state anyway. So we'll see what happens. Pony Feeder is in 12th place, 2.5 seconds down from Volton. I am slow is 12th. Pony Feeder's 11th. Keno, Pony Feeder's teammate, is another 5 3/4 down the road from I Am Slow. Then we've got Fresh Brazil, who was our pole sitter this evening. Hutchie was also up to 6th place at one point, actually 5th place. Hutchie was doing really well, had an issue. He finds himself down in 15th, and then Valium, he's in 16th, and then James is 9 laps in the pits having a gas, probably signing some autographs with Gamer Dad, all discussing, why have I bothered putting my face on the screen tonight? Well, because it's here. There you go. So Chica and Crazies, these two are close, and he's close to Euphoric State as well now. And someone's just turned around there. I think that was Valium. It was Valium. Okay, so fine. Unfortunately, that's not great for him. But Valium's having his first run in here. He's not going to know what the pace is like of these guys in here. So, in one way, it's good that happened, because he's not getting involved in this fight. But obviously, not great for his lap times there. So, Euphoric State, Chica, and Crazies all getting pretty friendly. Let's go on board with Let's stay on board with Euphoric State. Let's stay on board with him. We can see and listen to that Porsche as well. I always want to let everyone get used to the acoustics of all these different cars, because they all sound very different but very good. He's got a bit, tiny bit wide there, but look, he's pulled a gap there, so he's pulled out 1.4 seconds. So I'm thinking to myself that old Chica, our top Scot, our featured driver of the day, he is more worried about crazies. He's more worried about crazies than he is about Euphoric State, and that's a bit dangerous, really, because crazies is so consistent. I'm not saying Chica's not consistent, because he is. Fresh Brazil there, you can see it's just under 7 tenths behind Keno. Scratch that. He's now ahead of Keno, so he's made a move stick there, which is great for him. Oh, Chica, that got all out of shape, didn't it? So I'm fancying a move here from Crazies at some point. As you can see, Euphoric State in front, who's just going down to Graham Hill Bend and onto the Coops Straight. These two follow him through. A little bit of oversteer on Crazies. Again, awkward corner Surtees. Look at that car sliding there, and that allows Chico, as you could see, just the bottom end just squatted there. He got the traction down better, and he's now pulled himself an extra couple of attempts, which, as we discuss every week, that's a good breather. He can refocus his mind. Crazies has got to shake that one off a little bit. You know, these little mistakes that are happening when we're driving, they make a big difference, because it can have a chain effect. You know, if you're doing something good, that can reinforce the positives, and all of a sudden everything flows and clicks beautifully. Whereas if you are making little mistakes every now and then, it can put you in a negative place. Evidently, by what we're seeing here, those things don't apply to Crazies, and as we know from the podcast, he is actually an alien. And if you haven't seen the FRL cast, go and have a look at the FRL YouTube. Every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, myself, Chris, Oye Volton, Gamer Dad, and Dal, we do a nice little podcast and have sort of guests on and discuss lots of issues, you know, within FRL, ACC, PC, console. You know, it's good. It's a good hour. You should have a look. So these two, I think these two are in it for the long haul as a scrap there, but it did look like Chica got a little bit out of shape. Crazies can sniff a little bit of blood. He's putting on some good pressure. Closest battle on track. Yeah, we're not going anywhere, are we? Nope. Down Pilgrim's Drop. Just watch the steering inputs. It's very, very smooth. Very deliberate. Ground that didn't. Oh, they both ended up getting a bit of a slide on there. And look what's happening behind them. Hello, Vinet in 8th place. Oh, there's going to be. Vinet did well. I think Vinet was getting a little bit excited there and maybe didn't realise, you know, you've got two cars extremely close in front who, you know, are obviously going for it, but are probably going to be a little bit more cautious. I'm waiting for a slide to go on there. We don't have one. Are we going to get a move on the brakes? He's thinking about it. He's not, but then that's definitely going to push Chica wide. It has done. So he's got through, and look at that. Vinet got through, and Chica... Okay, I'm thinking there was a little tap there. Maybe not deliberate, but Vinet definitely saw that gap and went for it, as he should do. That gap was open because of a mistake by Chica, but looked like he probably pulled over just a little bit too early, a little bit too soon. So Crazies finds himself in the box seat at the moment. He's moved himself up to 6th place. Euphoric State is really happy they were doing that. because he's definitely got some breathing space now. I'm not saying Crazies won't be back with him, but just look at that time. It's 4 seconds between Euphoric State and Crazies. When we first jumped on that battle, the gap was like 9/10, maybe a second at a push. So just shows you how much that battle has held everybody up. Chica's coming back at Crazies. He's not going to want to let that one go. And then Violent, unfortunately, got involved with that through no fault of his own, I would suggest. He's got damaged by the look of it. He's about to get swallowed by traction. And who's that? Chris behind? Oh, no. Is it Chris? I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, and Violent comes into the pits. Okay, we've got 12 minutes, just under 12 minutes left. Is he going to come back out? I don't know. We'll have to find out. I don't think so, though, if he's just pulled in and done a port like that. So let's recap. At the front we have got Lenny, closely followed by our Michael races. So let's have a little look see. This is for the lead. We always seem to get really close battles for the lead, and I'm not complaining at all. It's absolutely great. You get to see these guys driving, some of our finest drivers, absolutely going at it, hammer and tongs. Nobody can complain about that. Brabham straight down to Paddock Hill Bend. A little dab of the throttle there from Lely just to balance the car. Into Druids. Trails in there. You can watch those inputs down on the bottom right hand side. Michael's all over the back of him. This is like a replay of like 2 weeks ago in the tacos, except it was Graham instead of Lely. Down Cooper straight. Now the awkward left hand of Surtees, where you've got to brake, you've got to wait, balance, but you've got to get on the throttle early to get onto this back straight. And that looks like it's all going totally fine at the moment. We're coming down towards Hawthorns and then Westfield. So Hawthorns is a very clear indicator where that curve is. The curve just points out a little bit. That's your indicator to get back on the throttle. And then through here, you just got to cut that curve and run as wide as you can. And just pray. And here's the favourite corner of mine. Swing. Oh. These boys are pushing. Excellent driving, boys. Excellent driving. It is a pleasure to watch everybody in this grid. So Graham is nearly 4 seconds down now. I can't see him making that up. So I think in reality, this is your race. Michael wants that win. Lely does not want to let that win go. Really important for the championship. Spacey's currently still holding 4th place as we watched them go through Druids there. Euphoric State 5th. Crazy's in 6th. Chico is in 7th. They've gapped a little bit now. It's 1.4 seconds. Traction's got himself back up to 8th place. That's actually a very good drive from Traction considering what happened to him earlier on today. Pony Feeder's in 9th, and I Am Slow is bringing up well, not bringing up the rear, but he rounds out the top 10. Fresh Prism's brought himself back up to 11th place after that unfortunate incident. Keno's 12th. Uvolton's 13th, and then Hutch is currently running 14th place in the Ferrari, and then Violent, Lely's made a mistake there. Lely has made a mistake. That's going to allow Michael to close up on him. Okay, guys, the momentum at the moment, without a doubt, is with Michael. We've got under 10 minutes left of this race. Does Michael want to force a move? Does Michael want to just sit there and bide his time? How hard is Lely pushing? Obviously, he's not having a... Well, I mean, I know it is Sunday and he's having a drive, but he's not having a little quiet Sunday drive, is he? But how hard is he pushing those tyres? How hard is he pushing that car? So, yeah, we were just saying, so Hutch is in 14th place, and then Violent, who, if you remember, was 8th and made that move on Chica, because Chica tried a move with Crazies and that didn't work. And then Violent got tagged by Chica. I don't think it was anything malicious. It was just where the two cars were on track after that incident and how they both reacted to that. There was contact. So Violent is 15th in the pits, 4 laps down. I think he's jacked it in. Valium, he's probably taken some. He's in the pits. James is in the pits, 16 laps down, as is Gamer Dad. So those two are definitely out. Spazey's is now only 3 tenths behind Graham What's going on there? Graham's fallen off the pace quite a lot. It was 4 seconds, maybe a lap and a half ago. It's now nearly 6. So Spacey can sniff a podium. That will not do Graham's points for the championship any good at all. So he's going to have to scrap and fight for the next 8 minutes as hard as he can. Meanwhile, Michael is right on the back of him. Right on the back of Lely. It's too close. So we've got the top two are having their battle. Third and fourth are obviously really close. They're having their battle for who's going to be on the podium. It's fantastic racing. Just having a pop in the live chat. Yeah, so I don't know why I get all these lovely random people that I don't know. Just put silly things in the chat, really, like online. Well, I am online, obviously, and so are you if you're in the live chat. So, again, congratulations to that person. As we continue to watch Michael apply the pressure to Lely. Is Lely going to cope with that? By the way, I did want to say this evening, now I'm on camera actually, and if you do like the graffiti, let me know, but these aren't headphones. They're actually my ears. I am an alien without the pace of one. What is going to happen here? What do you reckon? See, neither of those two look like they're getting too leery at the moment, so I'm not thinking tyres are an issue there. Graham's really dropped off, isn't he? 6.6 seconds now. Maybe his tyres are dead. Fresh Brizzle's got a drive through, and he's gone in to serve that. That's just salt, isn't it? Salt in the wounds for Fresh Brizzle after what started. I mean, he had a great start, brilliant pole lap, great start to the race. He's done his drive through now. Fair play to him, Fresh Brizzle. Fair play to you, Mr. 999 Bentley. You know, you could have stopped in the pits like a few others have, but you haven't yet. So get out there, finish the race, and collect your points. Spacey is now under 3/10 behind Graham, and Michael is, Christ almighty, is probably the same. So Graham can't afford to lose this podium. He can't afford to lose this in terms of points, because that's going to put a huge amount of pressure on him next week at the final round in Silverstone, because well, it might be the case that Lely ends up jumping him, and obviously Michael will increase a points deficit towards him, so he can't afford to lose this. I don't know if he can actually hold on to it. So we've got 2/10 at the front, we've got like 1/10 here. We're going to have to keep an eye on both of these really, really quickly. Spacey is not going to get a move done through Sheen, no, as they come down into Sterling's. Both get a good drive out of there. Let's have a quick look at these two. Again, nose to tail. Euphoric State's doing well. He's currently in 5th place still. We've got a 10th between these two again now. So I think these are the two, well, evidently these are the two battles that are ongoing. Everyone else is doing what they need to, but we're fairly well gapped. Oh, that was close. That was close. Graham's gone defensive. So Graham's definitely got a tyre issue here. He's obviously not got the grip. I mean, look, they're 8 seconds off the pace now. So Graham's lost the grip. Maybe the tyres. Maybe there was a gamble on the tyre. Maybe he didn't reset those pressures on the way into the pits, and they've now died on him. But Spacey, I think that is and there you go. More grip going in. He's going to get a drive out. Graham's going to get a better drive there, but Spacey's just got to stay on the inside line. So let's go on board quickly and let's see what it looks like with Graham trying to fight back. He's just lost his podium place, remember. And Spacey, I did say earlier on, I've been very impressed with his drive. Really, really consistent. Moved his way up through the field nicely. And he's still doing that now. So we've got 6 minutes left of this round 4 at Brands Hatch. Don't forget, this is the Formula Racing League GT3, British GT3 short sprint season before the console update, and it's been awesome racing so far all season, and this is again, it's delivering. So it looks like Spacey does definitely have the pace on Graham at the moment. Meanwhile, what should we do now? Let's have a look at the top two, shall we? As they go through Druids. They know they've got who's in front of them. So Kino DJ is in front of these two on the Cooper straight. Good drive from both. Let's have a look, see what his McLaren is actually handling like today. See what I'm saying about earlier on? You have to wait through Surtees. But he got a good drive out of there. Lenny knows he's got a fight coming. Lenny's on the brakes a few times there. Did he need to? Oh, that's got it. He's definitely going wide there, and that was coming all day long. All day long that was. So Michael with a, how can we put it? Michael positioned his car very, very nicely there, and the pace they were both going at. Lenny was committed. Yeah, Lenny. And this is the whole psyche of it all. We're 2.5 minutes from the end of this race. They've been battling for an hour. They had the qualifying session. They don't want to give it up. And Lenny probably there should have backed out and let Michael move through. Michael might have overshot that corner, or Lenny could have tried a switchback. Lenny's obviously conscious that he thinks Michael had better pace than him, which is why he didn't want to give that position up, but to his detriment. So Michael Races is currently in the lead. We've got less than 2 minutes to go, so he looks at the moment like he's looking pretty comfortable for yet another victory, and that will please him no end with this race of champions we've got coming up. Remember folks, he will probably want to be invited into that as a champion. Graham has managed to get third place back from Spacey. We missed that one. However, that has how Spacey's got a problem. Look how slow he is. Spacey's going to run out of fuel by the look of it. Let's go on board and see what she sounds like. Yeah, he's running out of fuel. Spacey. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. So a little bit of fortune for IR Graham there, potentially. Well, not potentially, is. So IR Graham moves back up onto the podium. Michael's going to win this race, so he's going to come across the line and start his last lap now. Who's in front of him? Kino. Right, last lap for Michael. So Graham's going to be very, very grateful that Spacey's going to run out of fuel, which is a real shame. He's still going though, and if he was going to run out of fuel, why didn't he go in the pits? So I don't know, maybe I don't know what's going on there. Euphoric State is currently 5th, which is a great drive from him, nice and consistent. Crazies, as I did say at the start of this race, when he pitted first and was down in 16th place after his pit stop really early on, to watch him. We have spent some time with Crazies, brought himself back up to 6th place at the moment. Great drive. Chica, our featured driver and Top Scot, as his new name. He's currently in 7th place. Has had a couple of tiny little incidents, I would say. But 7th place, he probably wants 6th. He can't be too disheartened with 7th. Let's go back on with Michael. So Pony Feeder's up into 8th. Traction Dave 9th. And I Am Slow seems to have been 10th for the entire race, really. Is 10th, so good for him. Kino DJ is 11th. Fresh Brizzle 12th. Unfortunate what's happened to him this evening. And then Uvolton and Hutch are the last two runners. Viner, Valium, James and Gamer Dad are all in the pits as Michael crosses the line. There we go. Let's give him a round of applause. Well done, Michael. Another victory. First place for you. Brand's in the bag. And then Lely comes across the line in 2nd place. Great race, Lely. I was unlucky there that you've made one mistake in the entire race, and it's cost you the win, unfortunately. But that's what happens when you boys are all so quick and all so similarly skilled at the front. IR Graham manages 3rd place. He's going to be happy with that. He should have been 4th, really, but obviously Spacey was having that issue. Spacey comes across the line in 4th place. Euphoric State, good, solid race from him after the issues that we've had over the last couple. He's going to bring it home in 5th, so a nice points all for him. Crazies has just been mega consistent as always, and brings that home in 6th place. Chica, our featured driver, good race, buddy. You did well there. Our top Scott, he's going to finish in 7th. And then Pony Feeder and Traction Dave have got a race to the line. Pony Feeder's going to hold that position. So Pony Feeder 8th, Traction Dave 9th. A lucky race for Traction. He did get collected earlier on and probably would have finished a lot higher than that. I Am Slow finishes in 10th place. Well done. Keno DJ, obviously standing in this evening. He's put in a great effort in 11th. Fresh Brazil 12th. Yavolton 13th and Hutch 14th. And then we got Valium, James and Gamer Dad. Didn't actually finish the race. So there we have it. That has been round 4. Great race, great comms. Thank you very much, Supercart Ray. I really appreciate that. We do try our best. So, as I was just saying to wrap that up, Fresh Brazil qualified on pole with an absolutely scintillating lap. Had an issue on the Cooper straight, got a big tank slapper on, ended up going, I think he clattered into Traction Dave then, and I Am Slow got involved in that incident as well, which effectively put those three way out of position, which is why they finished where they did. Michael, Lely and Graham have had a great battle all race long again. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the standings are going to look like. Obviously, the start of this race, Graham and Michael were level on points, and Lely was only 8 points behind them. So that's going to make a difference. And we've only got one round left to go. So next week we are at Silverstone for the last round of the British GT3 Sunday short sprint before the console update. Don't miss that one. That's going to be, well, there's a lot on the line, isn't there? So don't miss that one. You can catch me on Tuesday for Taco Tuesday Tier 1. Also, obviously Wednesdays for the FRL cast. Get us at 10 o'clock on the FRL YouTube channel. And that's about it, really. So I'd like to thank everybody that's watched this evening. I hope we've entertained. Everybody that has taken part in the live chat, thank you very much. Always appreciate that. Well done to Claire for winning the Coops competition this week. Obviously let Keno know and I'll sort him out a setup. And yeah, I mean, just thanks for watching, guys. Any likes, any subs, helps everything grow. And that's where we're at. So we'll catch you all on Tuesday. Check out the website, FRL. You don't get better racing than on Formula Racing League. I am biased, but I do truly believe that. So yeah, we'll go from there. So pleasure. Have a great evening. Comms by Coops. Out.